Released in 1970, the self-titled debut Black Sabbath changed music forever. Recorded in just a single day, the album introduced a dark, heavy sound the world had never heard before. Inspired by horror films and eerie atmosphere, it's widely considered the birth of heavy metal, raw, haunting, and revolutionary. Released in 1970, Paranoid was Black Sabbath's breakthrough album. Recorded in just a few days, it brought tighter songwriting and unforgettable riffs. With classics like Iron Man and Paranoid, the album cemented the band as pioneers of heavy metal, combining darkness, social commentary, and raw power in one legendary record. Released in 1971, Master of Reality took Black Sabbath's sound even heavier, with down-tuned guitars and darker, more personal lyrics. The album explored themes of society, addiction, and inner struggles. It features iconic tracks like Sweet, Leader, and Children of the Grave, solidifying the band's status as heavy metal pioneers. Released in 1972, Volume 4 showed a new side of Black Sabbath, heavier and more experimental. The album blended crushing riffs with softer moments, like Changes, recorded in Los Angeles during a chaotic period. It reflects both creativity and excess, featuring classics like Supernaut and Snowblind. Released in 1973, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath marked a turning point for the band. With richer production and more complex songwriting, it showed a new, experimental side of heavy metal. Recorded partly in a haunted castle in Wales, the album blended dark riffs with progressive elements, proving that Sabbath were evolving beyond their doom-laden roots. Released in 1975, Sabotage is one of Black Sabbath's most intense albums. Created during legal battles, the band poured raw energy and frustration into the music. The result is a powerful mix of heavy riffs and complex arrangements, with standout tracks like Hole in the Sky and Symptom of the Universe. Released in 1976, Technical Ecstasy showed a very different side of Black Sabbath, moving away from their dark roots. The band experimented with new sounds, including synthesizers and softer elements. Despite mixed reactions, the album highlights their willingness to evolve and push boundaries. Released in 1978, Never Say Die marked the end of an era for Black Sabbath with Ozzy Osbourne. The album explored new directions, blending hard rock with experimental elements. Despite internal struggles, it delivered tracks like Never Say Die and Shockwave, closing a legendary chapter in metal history. Released in 1980, Heaven and Hell introduced Ronnie James Dio as the new voice of Black Sabbath. With a fresh sound and renewed energy, the band embraced melody and epic storytelling. The album features classics like Neon Nights and Heaven and Hell, marking a powerful rebirth. Released in 1981, Mob Rules continued the powerful era of Ronnie James Dio in Black Sabbath, darker and heavier than its predecessor. The album features intense riffs and epic vocals, with tracks like The Mob Rules and Sign of the Southern Cross. It reinforced the band's renewed strength. Released in 1983, Born Again featured Ian Gillan of Deep Purple joining Black Sabbath. The album delivered a raw and heavy sound, but became infamous for its muddy production. Despite mixed reviews, it remains a unique and powerful entry in the band's history. Released in 1986, Seventh Star was originally a solo album by Tony Iommi, but was released under the name Black Sabbath. Featuring Glenn Hughes on vocals, it leans more toward hard rock than classic Sabbath heaviness, marking a unique and transitional moment in the band's history. Released in 1987, The Eternal Idol marked a darker return for Black Sabbath. Featuring Tony Martin on vocals, the album brought back a heavier, more atmospheric sound. Despite lineup changes, it delivered epic tracks and a renewed sense of identity. Released in 1989, Headless Cross is one of the darkest albums by Black Sabbath. With Tony Martin on vocals, the band embraced a gothic and atmospheric style, featuring powerful melodies and eerie themes. It stands out as a strong entry in the late Sabbath era. Released in 1990, Tyre saw Black Sabbath explore Norse mythology, With Tony Martin on vocals, the album blends heavy riffs with epic, atmospheric themes. Songs inspired by gods and legends give it a unique place in Sabbath's history. Released in 1992, Dehumanizer marked the return of Ronnie James Dio to Black Sabbath. Darker and heavier than their previous work, the album explores themes of technology, control, and dehumanization. With crushing riffs and tracks like TV Crimes, it brought a modern edge to Sabbath's sound. Released in 1994, Cross Purposes saw Tony Martin return to Black Sabbath. The album blends classic heavy riffs with a darker tone, creating a solid and consistent sound. Though often overlooked, it features strong songwriting and a more traditional Sabbath feel. Black Sabbath's Forbidden, a controversial chapter in metal history. Dark, experimental, and misunderstood. This album shows a different side of the legendary band. Can you handle it? Released in 2013, 13 marked the return of Ozzy Osbourne to Black Sabbath after decades. With a sound inspired by their early albums, it brought back dark riffs and heavy atmospheres. The album debuted at #1 and proved that Sabbath could still deliver powerful, classic metal. Released in 2009, The Devil You Know was recorded by Heaven and Hell, featuring Ronnie James Dio and members of Black Sabbath. Dark, heavy, and modern, it continued the legacy of the Dio era. It became the final studio album recorded with Dio before his passing.